This is Justin West with hundreds of customers, and I want to talk to you about pay-per-click structuring. Moreover, how to properly structure your pay-per-click campaign. Now, there's a lot of facets to creating a well-organized, sustainable pay-per-click campaign. Keywords are one of the biggest single areas that you should focus on first, and chances are you're going to be missing some key areas or some key issues when it comes to talking about keywords. So let's start there. Proper keywords are, of course, very important because, this is the obvious point. If you're selling boats, you don't want to be advertising for socks and vice versa. Negative keywords, however, are equally important. Negative keywords prevent your ads from showing up when they shouldn't. So if you're an attorney, you may want people who are searching for find an attorney to find your ads, but not people who are searching for find an attorney school. This latter group would most likely be people looking for a law school, and they would be costing the advertiser every single time they erroneously clicked on their ads. Negative keywords prevent your ads from showing to people who are looking for seemingly related but not really relevant terms. Generally, avoid broad-matched keywords. What does that mean? Well, just trust me when I say never use broad-matched keywords, especially not all by themselves. Never, ever, ever. Just don't do it. Instead, use phrase and exact match keywords. In fact, broad match only campaigns are probably the #1 biggest mistake many first-time PPC advertisers make, and it winds up costing them a lot of money. What's the difference? Well, look at these three terms. They're all three chiropractor. I'm going to give you an example of using each of them in an AdWords campaign. So if you're using a broad word match for the word chiropractor, anytime anyone types in anything that has something to do with chiropractor, Google will say, oh, you know what, I think that this is relevant to your ad, and they'll show your ad to these people. And so when someone types in good chiropractors or bad chiropractors, or do chiropractors work, or chiropractic schools, or chiropractic job openings, all of these are going to wind up being people who see your ads. And they're either going to click on it and waste your money, or not click on it and drive down your click-through rate, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Now, if you were to use a phrase, you could put in a series of phrases that when people search for them, triggers your ads to show. So, for instance, chiropractic adjustment, chiropractic treatment, chiropractic therapy, chiropractic for back pain. These are all things that if you are a chiropractor, you might want to be looking for customers who are typing these in. And, of course, then there's the exact match. It's very similar in some respects to the phrase, but it works a little bit differently. I've been working with pay-per-click for a long time now, and I still get confused on exactly what the nuances are. But basically, it's this. Whenever you put in an exact match, so for instance, if you're a chiropractor in Reno or in Dallas, and you put in an exact match for chiropractor in Reno, it will show up whenever someone looks up chiropractor in Reno, that exact phrase, but it wouldn't trigger for chiropractors in Reno. If you were a chiropractor in Dallas, it wouldn't show up for Dallas chiropractor if your only exact match was chiropractor in Dallas. And that's when you actually want to wind up having a lot of different keywords, and you want to be focusing on the phrase and exact matches. Do, however, use the broad match modifier, which isn't the same thing as merely broad match keywords. The broad match modifier utilizes the plus sign to combine words together with other words, so that when certain combinations happen, they trigger your ads to display. So, for instance, if you were a plumber in Topeka, Kansas, whenever somebody typed in plumber and Topeka, maybe you'd want your ad to show. Or if you serve pizza in New York City, and every time someone typed in NYC Pizzeria, you might want your ad to show to them as well. So the first step on any pay-per-click campaign is identifying what appear to be good keywords to include and good keywords to avoid. Again, those are the negative keywords. Google's keyword tool is actually really great for this, and better than that, it's free. Once you've mastered keyword foo, you'll be one step closer to PPC dominance. And that's great news, all things considered. But remember, keywords are only part of the picture. And they're a good place to start because they are the easier to see tip of the PPC iceberg. What you don't see when you're focusing on your PPC is usually this. There's a number of steps you need to take to have your campaign running successfully. First off, you need to always optimize for CTR. I said I'd mention that a minute ago, and now I'm going to mention it. CTR is your click-through rate, which means for every 1,000 times Google shows your ad, how many times do people click on it, which means how many times does Google get paid. The more likely people are to click on your ad, the more likely they are to show your ad, especially because your ad winds up being seen in Google's eyes as relevant, and they're always looking to make a much more relevant experience for their users, both in the organic search results but also in the advertisements. And so they'll actually charge you less money if you have a higher CTR or higher click-through rate than if you have a low one. You also should be split testing your ads and your landing pages, because tiny little tweaks can make a 0.5 or 0.8% of a click-through rate difference, but that can be huge when you're talking about click-through rates that are 5% and under on average. So you might have two ads if you're a dentist in Fort Worth, and they look pretty similar, all things considered, to the untrained eye, but there's some little tiny differences, and one of them may wind up getting a lot more clicks. There's some other things you can do to improve your click-through rate. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. Also, you need to have a landing page. So many people fall into this trap, and they just dump potential customers on their home page, and most people will click around, read your blog, read your about section, and then they'll leave because you overwhelm them with information. You must control the interaction. Also, use control in your ads themselves, by which I mean build urgency with a call to action that gives a clear decision. Call now, click to call, watch this video, etc. And take advantage of all of the ad extensions you can when advertising on a site like Google. Things like site extensions can link to testimonials that are on your web page, or other landing pages, or other relevant pages. Call extensions take up extra screen space, which is good because it makes your ad bigger, but they don't take up extra ad space, which is also good because it means you don't have to shorten your message. Not only that, but they allow customers to call you rather than click, which means you wind up not paying for those leads. Location extensions can put you on the map, and Google ranks the maps above regular websites very often when it comes to local businesses. Most importantly, each extension makes your ad bigger than your competitors, which makes it more likely to get clicked. And more clicks means a higher click-through rate, which means you can pay less than similar ads from your competitors to rank higher than them. And paying less is always good. However, all of this takes a lot of work, and it's far more than mere keyword research. And that's where we come in. Marketing doesn't have to be complicated. That's a principle we live by. We are marketing simplified. We are hundreds of customers. Visit us online to get a free consultation with one of our pay-per-click specialists at ppc.hundredsofcustomers.com.